right, so yesterday we talked about sharks. Why are they so successful? Now, even in that video that talked about the development of jaws, the very most complete set of jaws that we had seen as far as vertebrates are concerned developed in fish. Okay, so with that, even in that video, when we talk about, what I want to say, classes of animals that have been on this earth, yes, fish have been around obviously the longest, but the most successful of that group has been sharks. So when you even dissected that shark, how do you know that you are looking at one? Okay, so it's snout-like shape. What about if you moved your hand back and forth? Right. So it's tough and sandpaper-like, going back towards the head as opposed to going from the front to back, which would be smooth then. All right. Jaws, teeth. What's significant about the teeth, though, besides being sharp? Yes, not only just rows, that's true, but one falls out due to injury, next one's right in line to take its place. And it was very evident whether that was a tiger shark or a lemon shark, I don't know which one, but should prey items get locked in that jaw, the only way to release that, just like with people who get their hands caught in large snakes like boas, anacondas, and pythons, you're not going to be able to pull out. Why is that? What's back? Oh, more than just fangs. They actually have teeth as well. But I think what you meant, and maybe you said, I just misunderstood, the teeth are actually pointed backwards. So you actually have to push it further in than to release that. Okay, so sense organs, jaws, teeth, replaceable teeth, and all of that nature makes the shark so successful. Then, all right, the question we had yesterday is referring to flotation. How is it different in all fish? When I say all fish, we're talking about the three classes, all right? So with that, what I want to do here quickly is want to open this because this is on it's on a timer, so I don't want this to run out. Otherwise, it's going to shut off because it's getting too hot. Now we got that power save going. Now we can shut it back down. Or maybe that's even worse for it. Yeah, but you do, though. It's not very much. Yeah. Because once you leave these doors, we're Mr. and Ms. taxpayers for this school district. Oh. Okay. You don't need to take any agricultural loans? Oh, okay. Good to know. Okay. Okay, so first of all, when we're referring to that, give me how many classes of fish did we talk about? There are three. Okay? So it's not that we're going in complexity, but what order did we go in? Who was first? Those are jawless fish, but what's it specifically called? Okay? What is another classification? It is hard to say. what means cartilage. Of course, it's the sharks. I think it had, say that again? Yep. That's not what I wanted. Okay, and then we'll leave the last one so we actually have room for that. So, flotation and anatomical differences. What are they for these guys? First of all, anatomically, how do we know when we're talking about Maxini, the biggest category that these have in difference from all other fish is what? Okay, so these lack a jaw. So we could say, for instance, we'll just say even hagfish, that's an example. Lack jaws. Okay. And now going back to flotation. How do they regulate their depth in the water? Starts with an O. It's a type of movement across the cell membrane. It's not diffusion. It's not facilitated diffusion. It's not active transport. Okay, so these will move, swim, whatever, to regulate depth by osmotic equilibrium. Obviously, hopefully you can read, but I just want to say it as we're writing, so if people at home choose to watch this, you can actually put 2 and 2 together, we hope. So class Maxini, those are hagfish. They're in that category because they lack jaws. And as far as flotation is concerned, they move or swim because of osmotic equilibrium. Okay? So that's 1/3 of it. You have 1 down, 2 to go. All right. So we'll go ahead and erase this. All right, counterseath. Okay. So give me an example of those. Okay, a little more specific. Lemon, tiger. Okay. Okay. So tiger sharks. Okay. So an example of how they regulate. Well, and or I should say, what is it about these that puts them in that category? Just like hagfish or Maxini, what is it about these that puts them in that class? Because it's really because of this term right here. What did it say yesterday? Why don't we find many remains of these animals? Because they're composed of cartilage. Okay, tiger sharks, which are composed. I bet that's annoying. This squeaking sound. Sorry. Of cartilage. Okay. So how is it that they regulate their depth? As something that you had observed internally in these animals. Okay, that's true. It's greasy, but it's coming from a specific organ. Okay, so the liver aids in So, creating lift. How's it doing that though? Because we want to be a little more specific than grease. That's true. That's true. Lift because of a compound called squalene. Okay? Squalene is a greasy, oily compound found in the livers of these sharks, which is, again, it's oily, so it's going to aid in producing lift. Now, that's not the only reason that these animals will create lift. Well, they keep moving, but something on their ventral or anterior side. I think you said it, but did you say fins? Oh. What type of fins, though? Don't say dorsal. Pectoral fins, that's right. Act like wings. They will actually help produce lift. All right? So, we got tiger sharks. They're composed of cartilage. The liver aids in creating lift because of a compound called squalene. Okay? You can say oily compound or just this referred to as squalene. So 2 of the 3 are done. What's the final classification of fish? Yeah, no. Maybe it doesn't say it in your head. It doesn't. Okay. Just like chondrocytes refers to a chondrocyte is a cartilaginous cell, an osteocyte is referred to as a bone cell. So we go from jawless fish to cartilaginous fish, now to bony fish. So, as far as an example of a bony fish would be what or who? Anything. Okay? Tuna are bony fish, so obviously they're composed of bone. And how do they regulate their depth or their flotation? Swim bladder. Okay? These fish use a swim bladder. To regulate depth or flotation, whichever way you want to look at it. Okay? That swim bladder, totally compressed. What's it doing? It's sinking. That swim bladder opens up and expands, goes up. And if there's an equilibrium of contraction, expansion, then it'll stay in one spot. Okay, so the big things, Maxini, chondrocetes, osteochetes. Okay, hagfish are boneless, tigers, sharks, tuna, bony fish, or catfish, bullheads, walleye, whatever you want to use as a bony fish, because they're all composed of bones. And then how do they regulate their depth? Well, because of that of a swim bladder. All right. This portion is on Friday, yes, along with those diagrams that you perhaps wrote down on, was it Monday? Yeah. Do we need a word bank? Why? Well, this is an upper level course. It's supposed to be hard. What okay. So So you say. Well, we don't know that for sure. I don't. Uh, well, regardless, this is one of those aspects to where, yeah, I understand it's not college. It's not meant to be college level, but it's one of those. I would say at about maybe quarter to 10 minutes to, then you receive it. We want you to make a fair attempt at it. Otherwise, how do we know what you really know as far as that? Okay, see that chanting. I don't hear it anymore now. See, all right, very good. Okay, so is there anything else? Uh, who's what? how you make it sound now? It feels like I'm hearing voices now. All right. Okay. So with this recent tragedy, let me start again. With this recent tragedy, okay, this individual gave himself a nickname, which I would say is probably pretty accurate. Okay. Mr. Bryant's nickname was blank. Okay. Okay, I need to check something really quick because I want to make sure I get the spelling right. No, I don't want to say it like that. The oldest trademark in the U.S., in other words, depending which foot you're looking at, you could say. That's what I was trying to do. That's a trademark. It's supposed to be a curve, but you see that symbol, you know you're looking at what? Nike. That's a trademark. Okay? The oldest trademark in the U.S. is Samson Rope Company. What animal is Samson wrestling? Yep. It is a and blank. Okay? So, like in this trademark, got in this Samson Rope Company, okay, What animal is he wrestling in the trademark? And then X marks the spot. So part 1, which is tomorrow, is vocabulary and that of just general questions. Then part 2 is your diagram and the essays that we've gone over yesterday and today. We'll catch up to you next time.